Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of the Angular 2 and Firebase app series. In the last video, we went ahead and set up Firebase, and we created our application with Angular CLI. We created all of our components. We did the routing, so we can now go to the listings, the add listings. This login doesn't work yet, but we'll get to that. And we also added the homepage content. So what I want to do now is implement AngularFire2. So if we go to the documentation, there's actually some pretty good documentation here. So if we look at the first one, install and setup, a lot of this stuff we don't have to do because we've already done it. For instance, installing Angular CLI, it tells you to uninstall it and reinstall it, but we know that there's no later version because we just installed it. We also don't need to do typings or TypeScript. That's already taken care of. And let's go down to here. So we've already installed AngularFire2 in Firebase. Let's just double check. So if we look at packages, package.json, and you can see AngularFire we have right here, and Firebase we have right here. So that's all set. And then we have to set up our app.module file. So let's open that up. That's going to be in source app, and then app.module.ts. Okay, so first thing we need to do is bring in AngularFire. So let's grab this and we'll copy, and I'll paste that right in there. And then we need to bring in our Firebase config. Okay, so let's just grab this, copy it, and I'm going to put it right above the routes. And then this information we can get from Firebase. So let's go to the console, and we want to click this add to your web app, and let's grab the API key and we'll put that in here. Okay, we'll grab the auth domain, we'll grab the database URL. Okay, we want the storage bucket, and we want the messenger ID. Okay, so that should do it for that config. Let's close that up and go back here. Then we need to bring it in to the imports, just like this. So we'll copy that, and let's go down to imports, and we'll just stick it right here. Make sure you put a comma after it. And that should do it for the initial setup for app.module. Now in the documentation, they're showing you how to bring in, Firebase list observable, and then how to grab the items from the database, but they're doing it within the component, and we don't want that. We want to put everything in a service. So make sure that this file's saved, and then we're going to generate a service. So we'll go over to our command line, and we want to create a folder in the app folder called services. Actually, I'll just do it through here. Okay, so in app, we'll create new folder called services. And let's navigate to that in our command line. So cd services, and then we're going to generate a service with ng service, and let's just call this Firebase. Okay, so now in services we have a firebase.service.ts file. And then let's go back to the documentation, and just like they did here in the component, we're going to bring AngularFire and Firebase list observable into our service. So let's paste that here. And basically what this does is it allows us to fetch data from a collection as an observable, so as a data stream. Okay, and then we need to also inject it, just like this. Actually, we'll just type it in because we got to do private, because we want to be able to access it from outside of the constructor. And then AF, and we'll set that to AngularFire. And then we're going to create a function called getListings. And if we look at the documentation, they're fetching a collection called items. But we're just going to grab this property here and put it right here. Except this is going to be listings. And that's going to be a Firebase list observable. Now, when this is run, we want to say this dot listings, and that's going to equal this dot af dot database dot list, and then we want to specify the collection, which is going to be listings. Okay, and then we want to say as Firebase observable list, or list observable, I'm sorry. Okay, and then we'll give that a type, and I'm going to give it a type of listing, just like that, and we're going to create this as an interface. Okay, but let's just return this. So we'll go on to the next line, and we'll say return this, return this dot listings. Okay, so let's create that interface. We're going to go outside of the class here, and let's do interface listing. So we're basically setting all the key value pairs here. So it's going to have a key, but I'm going to make that optional. So we're going to put a question mark, and then the type will be a string. Okay, it's also going to have a title. I'm going to make all of these optional. Title, it'll have a type. Actually, yeah, type will also be optional. That'll be a string. What else? Image. That'll be a string. City. Owner. And bedrooms. Okay. And now that error should be gone up here because it knows what a listing is now. So that's pretty much it for get listings, I believe. Yeah. So let's save that. Now when you create a service, you also have to bring it into app.module. The generator doesn't do that. It does bring in components, but it doesn't bring in services for some reason. So let's go ahead and import Firebase service, and that's going to be from /services /Firebase.service, and then services have to be added as a provider. So we're going to go down here, and in providers we'll just add Firebase service. Save that. Now we want to fetch these listings in the listings component, so we're going to have to go to let's see, components, listings, make sure you choose the plural version, and then the TS file. And then we want to import the Firebase service here. Okay, we're going to go up 2 levels into services. Okay, and then we need to inject it as a dependency into the constructor. And then we want to call the get listings inside of the ng on init, so when it initializes. So this dot Firebase service dot get listings, and that is an observable, so we want to subscribe to it, and we'll say in here listings, and then we just want to assign this dot listings to listings. Okay, now we need to create this as a property, so up here listings, and I'm just going to set that to any for now, not Amy but any. Okay, and let's also do a console log here of listings, and then let's see what happens. So if we click on listings and we look down here, we're getting a permission denied. Okay, now the reason we're getting this is because we haven't authenticated, and in our Firebase database, if we go to rules, let's see, let's reload this. Oh, we actually have to log in with Google. I don't want to log in just yet, but anyways, you have to authenticate. And you can change that within rules if you want, if you don't want any authentication, but we do. So in the next video, we're going to implement that so that we can use Google as our authentication method, and then we'll be able to view the listings. Okay, so that's it, and I will see you in the next video.